Time now for Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater with your host, Lisa Condit. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, Hank. Pleasure to be here. Thank you, as always.
Yeah, we got a lot of great stuff to get to today, including a wonderful interview that you've done with a very funny fellow. So that is coming up in just a few minutes. We're in the deep freeze out there today. What is happening? What's the latest at the Hanover Theater?
Well, yes, we are going to talk about the Valentine's Day comedy live stream at the Brick Box with Jimmy Cash. But, we have been so busy working behind the scenes on what we hope to be able to announce to you next week after we hope, and we think we will, get city approval to do something very fun and cool and engaging and accessible, having something to do with THT rep and outdoor performances this summer. That is what we have been working on, Hank.
Well, that is a lot. I mean, we do have, as I just mentioned, today is the deep freeze. But some of what I think you're alluding to is there's going to be the opportunity in the not-so-distant future to do some things that are going to be happening outside.
Absolutely. And so, we're always planning 3, 6, 9, 12 months into the future. And, this week, actually, I was on a couple of calls, webinars, Zooms, call it what you will, but with Broadway producers, who were talking about what, of course, it's going to take to get everything back on the road and what do we really think is going to be happening. We've all talked about the safety protocols on the show before, but it really does look like there is a very good chance that fall is going to be that time when we're able to re-engage with our Broadway tours. And that means that this summer we're planning not just what we're doing with THT Rep, but what kind of fun activities can we do to re-engage with our audiences in a big public way so that everybody's excited about that programming. And of course the question everybody's asking is, when are we going to announce new dates, new shows as far as our Broadway season, especially all those loyal subscribers who signed up to be subscribers without us announcing the shows. You remember us talking about that, which is incredible. And something like 90% of those people have hung on with us, so we're eager to let them know what the upcoming schedule is. And we will probably give them a sneak peek but not make a public announcement until April or May. So we're just a couple months away from that whole rollout as well.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And a little peek there, as always, behind the scenes, the fact that you're on these phone calls with the Broadway producers.
No, I'm just
and
not seeing the levels.
I am so thrilled to hear the news of how many people have hung in there with you. I think that really, goes to show just how much you've built this brand loyalty in a decade at the Hanover Theater. It's all, so many people. No, it's hard for them to remember when there wasn't the Hanover Theater because it's just so much a part of the community right now. I think it also goes to show, though, that people are anxious, and I'm sure that you sometimes get these calls as to, okay, Lisa, when are you and Troy going to make these things happen? Well, that's dependent on who decides that they want to get, start to take the chance to ramp things up and get their tour out there and announce that they're going to go on tour. It's not all up to you.
No, absolutely not. And Actors Equity certainly plays an enormous role in all of what we do. So the other bright shining star for us and a real success that we can feel good about is our conservatory program. Conservatory classes have started. It's not too late to register for some of them, but we're in that last week or so of when you really can join in on that fun. And this year we were able to work with Worcester Public Schools and offer some free conservatory classes to students on a first-come, first-serve. And that, of course, sold out for the free classes like in a day, Hank. And then what we were also able to do was reach out to just some of those students who were on the wait list and, basically offer them scholarships and some limited spots left in the conservatory. So our conservatory has remained so successful. We actually met our goal that was set before the pandemic for class registrations, which is just incredible.
Boy, that's great. I mean, that really is, and it's wonderful that all of that is continuing and picking up steam in the way in which you were able to pivot to make it happen. I was also, Lisa, just as you were talking. Oh, and I don't mean to catch you up, but I was just thinking about the timeline. And if some of these Broadway tours do kind of start up again in the fall, just here in Worcester, in our own little world, you think about. If they're able to play some ball games this spring and this summer at the new Polar Park, if they're able to open up, and I'm thinking that all of these things are going to happen. You have some of the increased activity. You have the guy who bought the old Lucky Dog, and he's going to have his flatbread pizza, and you can go candlepin bowling. You're going to have all this activity, and then boom, right on the heels of all of that, really when America starts to reopen up and get back in the swing of things, you have the Hanover, and you're rolling out the shows, and downtown is going to have quite the resurgence.
I absolutely agree, and I know that it's going to build, and it's all about building that momentum, and there are so many people eager to do that in a safe way. Of course, I feel grateful every day, Hank, that we live in Massachusetts. I swear to you, I feel grateful every day because I think that we're going to get through this in a much stronger, faster way, and it's so important for our credibility with actors' equity, for example, to be able to be disciplined about what we're doing, and so that we can enjoy more freedoms, a few months or a year from now, for sure.
All right. Now, let's get to, you did a great interview. We've got a great show that's coming up. Does this need to be set up a little bit?
Well, basically, I had the opportunity to speak with Jimmy Cash. He's a local Worcester comedian, as we know, a Worcester native, and he's really a funny guy, and he's one of the featured comedian in our Valentine's Day live stream comedy night at the Brick Box. So here we go. Thank you all for listening once again. I'm excited to be here with Jimmy Cash. Jimmy is one of the 4 comedians that are going to be participating in a live stream comedy night at the Brick Box on Sunday, February 14th. And so tell me, Jimmy, how are you going to be making people laugh this Valentine's Day?
Oh, how I'm going to make them laugh? I'm going to show up and hop on stage and share some of my trials and tribulations, and hopefully they laugh.
Oh, boy. So, Jimmy, how long have you been working with John Tobin? He was on our program. He was talking about these live streams, and he had so many great things to say about each of his comedians. But tell me a little bit about how you got involved with John Tobin in comedy.
I got involved with John Tobin through just working my way up through the Boston, Worcester comedy scenes, just doing shows around New England, and eventually I came into his camp, if you will, and he runs a lot of shows, and it's been great ever since I linked up with him. He runs some of the best clubs in New England, so it's been great to work with him.
Well,
for him.
Yes. Well, he was really complimentary, and he was describing each of you. And for our listeners, if you haven't seen Jimmy Cash's Janitor Parade video yet, you might want to go and give that a watch. Go ahead and search it on YouTube, because basically it's a 3-minute clip where it becomes abundantly clear how much you, Jimmy Cash, care about your students, even when you're kind of poking fun at what the situation is. Do you want to go in on how you found your inspiration, or boy, did it just come so naturally as you're surrounded by the joys of your everyday life? Tell me.
Oh, the Janitor Parade. Yeah, it was actually, you nailed it. It was a little poking fun, but a little sincerity too, because I just saw that teachers were doing the parades during the lockdown, the beginning of it, going around in cars and waving to their students outside, and I'm like, why can't I do that? Imagine, it started off with, I was going to just walk down my street, the middle of the street with the mop bucket, and just kind of wave to a few kids I knew, and then I was like, after more thought, I said, we could go a little bigger with this, maybe I could get on the back of my truck and throw out some rolls of toilet paper, too,
So instead of the Santa parade throwing candy, it's you throwing toilet paper.
Yeah, and there was a shortage, so everyone was happy with the TP, and I provided it myself. It wasn't school TP.
I think that's very important to note because you
Yeah.
are, of course, a very ethical person. Another clip that I think is pretty funny is you have a I Love Mondays clip. What
Oh.
do you think? What do you think is the best thing about Mondays?
The best thing about Mondays? What's the I Love Monday clip? On their TV show? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, you know what? You have a live stream, I Love Mondays, with comedian Jimmy
Yes,
Cash,
yes,
right?
yeah.
Yes, and it's been on YouTube and Facebook, and you're kind of a sensation out there on social media, Jimmy.
But yeah, the I Love Mondays thing is it's a guy that has a TV show called I Love Mondays, and I was on that, and he just gets fired up about Mondays. Kind of got me fired up about it too. Why not get excited for Monday? Just another day.
So when you're back with your students, right, and it's a Monday, do you just sense the joy coming from everybody as you're all back at work or school?
I actually, to my own kids, I like to on Sunday night. It's something my grandfather used to say to me. He used to always. I'd be bummed out that school was coming up. He could sense it, and he would just go, "Hey, guess what?" And I'd go, "What, Grandpa?" And he'd go, "School tomorrow." And so I do that to my kids now on the weekend, Sunday night. I go, "Hey guys, guess what?" They always forget. They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "School tomorrow, yay!"
Oh gosh! And then, especially now during the pandemic, what's that been like? You must have so much material that you're going to entertain us with, being trapped in the same house as the whole family.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've got to stay home a couple times with them, like on days that I had to take off from work, and to see how the remote learning situation's going. And you hear a lot of complaints about it, but I kind of saw a very laid back situation. So everyone was in their pajamas, hanging out, eating snacks. So I think they're hanging in there.
Oh, and so how are you staying, funny and motivated and excited to be sharing all of this during this time? And tell us a little bit more about what we can expect on Valentine's Day from you.
Well, I've been staying motivated and excited about it because I had the opportunity to work opening up for comedian Bob Marley over the spring and summer and fall, and that kind of kept the muscle going for me. The comedy muscle just kept it alive just enough because there wasn't a lot of shows locally. I mean, we did have the Woo Ha Ha tent that Tobin ran downtown, which was phenomenal. But besides that, there wasn't a lot in Mass for shows. So on Valentine's Day show, you could just expect me just getting up there and sharing some of my stories and adventures through being a school janitor and a stepfather and sober, and got a lot of layers to delve into.
I cannot wait. And you know what? We're just glad that there's an opportunity really for us to get fresh live entertainment. And live streaming has become such a part of our lives now. Did you ever think that a year ago you would be doing so much live streaming and digital performance?
Absolutely not. I can't believe, I've done some of these Zoom shows, and I was very skeptical at first. Some of the ones that I've done from home. What's that?
It's got to be hard to do the Zoom shows because, I just think to some of the meetings that I've been involved with, and, there's not, when you're giving a presentation to a room, whether it's comedy or presenting an idea, we can't help but feed off of the energy from the people around us. And, God, sometimes when you're on those Zooms and it's like it's complete silence and everybody is muted, it's hard, I think, to just stay personally inspired and sometimes on it because you're looking for people to give you feedback. So how do you combat that?
I just push through.
You're just funny, Jimmy.
You just push through and you deal with it, and you know what? You get a few laughs. Maybe somebody messages you after and says, "Hey, that was great." And you're like, "Really? I can't believe you said it." I can't believe anyone said that was great. But you adapt. It definitely, I feel like, is a new muscle to have.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if you realize this or not, but the Hanover Theater also has a conservatory as part of our organization, where we have, an improv class, and we have all different levels. And so, people take classes at the Hanover Theater Conservatory all the way from, the time they can appreciate music as babies up to very mature adults. And adult improv is a very popular class. What pieces of advice do you have for our aspiring comics out there?
To not listen to yourself, to your fears, and to just push through and and be kind to yourself, and don't be afraid to bomb.
Great advice, right?
You're gonna bomb. We all bomb, but you just learn from it. Keep going.
That's right. It's not how many times we get knocked down, but it's getting up every time, right, Jimmy?
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. Well, so for everybody who's listening, we're very excited to have Jimmy Cash as one of the comedians in Comedy Night at the Brick Box, and you can get tickets to that live stream on the website at thehanovertheater.org. We spell theater with an R-E. And you can also watch a video preview of Jimmy's comedy, as well as the other three comedians. We have Kathy Ferris, Sam Ike, and Tony V. So anything you want to say to our listeners before we take a break?
Just that I'm a Worcester born and raised kid, and come and support the show. Tune in. You won't be disappointed.
We know we won't, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time, Jimmy. Everybody, stay tuned. We'll be back right after this quick break with more Behind the Scenes with the Hanover Theater.
Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theater with Lisa Condon continues. And Lisa, a funny fellow. So tell us some more details about that show coming up. He's just one of the great comedians up here.
Well, sure, but I just have to say first that Jimmy is such a nice person to talk to. And I think he wanted me to talk more about the fact that he was from Worcester, because part of his shtick is that, he's a janitor with stamina. And Hank, you just need to let me know. Have you gotten addicted to TikTok yet?
I have not. I have been seeing some of these wild things that are going on there.
Okay, so for everybody who's listening who has gotten into TikTok, he's pretty funny, and he does have a lot of activity on all the social media channels, so you should definitely check it out. He has a whole thing about ordering his coffee at Dunkin' Donuts and the janitor with stamina, and that's really how he is. And, his father was also a janitor for the Worcester Public Schools, and so he took over the family legacy, as he puts it, and he's been doing it for 20 years, and he's just so humble, so hardworking, and so funny all at the same time. So, yes, he is one of 4 awesome comedians that we're going to be having that night. And Kathy Ferris, Sam Ike, and Tony V. Tony V is going to actually be our guest in a couple of weeks when he calls in as well. But, Kathy Ferris, hysterical. Sam Ike, also really funny. So I highly recommend, if you're looking for a laugh, definitely check out the comedy live stream at the Brick Box Sunday, February 14th. And, of course, you can buy tickets to that live stream on our website at thehanovertheater.org.
Yeah, what a great show. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We can all use some laughter right now, that's for sure. Lisa, maybe because we've got a couple of minutes left, let's kind of circle back a little bit to where we started, just looking forward to the future, some of the shows, and the fact that maybe we'll even start to get some announcements in April and May, the fact that the conservatory is doing so well. And I thought maybe to follow up a little bit more, you really are keeping in touch with everyone. What are there some people who have been listening and they've been listening for these last weeks, and they want to make sure that they become members, that they are supporting all that you're doing, and that they're going to just be able to maybe get some of the information that you've been sending out to your regular subscribers as well.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. So the easiest way is go to our website, again, thehanovertheater.org. Right in the upper hand corner, there's a little place there with an envelope that says Join Mailing List or Update Your Account. Sometimes people get a little confused because once you've put your email into our system, we recognize that, and we won't let you open another account with that. So if you have any questions about what your password is, go ahead and call our box office, and they'd be happy to help you. And, of course, that number is 877-571-SHOW.
Very good.
Also,
yeah.
all social media channels, we have a whole team of really much younger and wittier and funny people than me who are posting and making jokes on social media. So I highly recommend that people follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and off we go.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the way to keep up with everything. Lisa, I think that might be a good place for us to end it this week. Just one more time, want to make sure everybody is tuned into the comedy show, and you've got such good things going on in the BrickBox Theater. That's an exciting component.
Yes, thank you so much, Hank. Everybody be well, and we'll see you next week on Behind the Scenes.